Hello friends, and welcome back for another episode of Indie Impressions. My name is Nick, and today we're going to be checking out the early alpha version of something called Ethereality by developer Arcasia. The general premise here is that this is basically the audiovisual counterpart of this artist's next audio album. So we're going to be exploring an island and looking for, just little points of interest, and those are going to have orbs in them, and those orbs are going to contain the music in this upcoming album. So essentially, at heart, it's a first-person exploration game, but it serves to sort of give a visual reference to something that is generally always audio, and I thought that was just a very cool premise. And also, it's just really pretty, so I figured, hey, those are some good things that I like to cover when it comes to indie impressions. Anyway, let's look at the graphics settings real quick here. It's nothing particularly deep just yet. Just got full screen on or off, and low, medium, high, or ultra for audio, or for visual settings. Pretty much all good to go, though, so let's just dive right in. Alright, we find ourselves in a big open world here. There seems to be a stark white, almost it looks like it's framing like a picture, the landscape out in front of us. We've got some lovely looking orange foliage here. Looks like maybe we're in a state of multiple seasons, in fact, because it seems like we're in summer and fall at the same time. Or maybe that one tree right there didn't seem to get with the program. But we're in a building with no ceiling, and that is some lovely light rays we've got going on up above. In case you couldn't tell, this is an Unreal 4 engine game. So some of the visual effects are just going to naturally come along and just look fantastic. Oh, and we seem to be a plastic-modeled 3D mannequin for the moment. I don't know if that's a kind of a placeholder effect, or if it's just going to end up that way in totality. Might actually have a reason to be that way. And I just wanted to get a quick lay of the lands here. So we've got a very strange-looking tree downstairs by that rock. Got some odd-looking water coming out of that wall over there. And we've got some sporadic fences. Oh, and a big tall island over to whatever direction this is. I don't know. I was going to say north, but I don't know what direction north is. Okay, so down there we've got a little bit of a bridge. Almost looks like a disembodied dock. Let's head down this ramp, as it were. I wasn't sure if this was necessarily the right way to go, or if there even is a right way to go, but then I realized, like, we're kind of boxed in most of the time. The level design seems to encourage you to head just forward. Yeah, see, I can't even go back up. This is actually like an unintentional progress gate. Now, in the description before when I was downloading this, it did mention that there will be levels to this, so I'm not sure how that's going to structure the whole thing in the end. Oh, does this not... This doesn't have a wall blocking me off, so maybe I could fall off the world right there. Maybe I don't want to do that just yet. But yeah, I'm not sure how that's going to affect the whole progress of things. Is what I imagined was that we would be in sort of a sandbox situation. There would be perhaps a variety of orbs that we would discover, and each one of those orbs would sort of serve as a point of interest on that island, and then as a whole, they would sort of make up the theme of this album, as it were. So I don't know if levels would make it sort of fragmented in a way, or maybe the levels still are coherent, maybe they're just different parts of the island. Not entirely sure how that's going to work out. We've got a dark, creepy-looking cave over there, and what appears to be our first orb over on the left under this brilliantly crimson tree. That is really... The star colors are really, really pretty. And that cave reminds me so much of the colors of Dark Souls 2. I don't know if that... Maybe that's just in my head. I don't know if you guys see that as well. But let's go talk to the orb, unless we can walk up this slanted surface here. I kind of doubt it. Yeah. And, oh, we've fallen in a slight bit of water. Thankfully, we can get back out. The movement in this is, I would say it's, like, generally standard for, like, the kind of games that I generally play where things are kind of walled off a lot. It's not so much about the movement, it's about the exploration, but sometimes the walls get in the way a little bit, which feels a little strange to me. Anyway, let's press E on this and hear what we are going to hear. Oh, lots of pretty specks appear in the air, particles everywhere. What is that a picture of? Oh, I want to say it's a fetus with headphones on. Alright, so maybe we're going to go through like a birth to death cycle as well in this. Completely just speculating there, I have no idea, but that's very pretty. Look at the freaking waves off in the distance. Makes this whole thing appear rather epic, doesn't it? I love games where you can just kind of take your time and just laze around and, like, listen and Yeah, you're not really pushed forward to do anything in particular. Just take your time. I mean, I like rushing as well in some certain elements, but not always. Oh, so you walk away from the orb, the soundtrack fades away. Alright, so I didn't realize they would actually be proximity-based. That does kind of lend a little bit of credence to the idea I had a moment ago, where it would be sort of proximity-based in that, like, the point of interest that the audio is located in sort of is relevant to the music itself. I think that's kind of the best way to go with that type of thing. I was a little surprised the music was so, like, heavy electronica beat. I wasn't expecting that. I figured it'd be something a little bit more tranquil, but I guess I could see how it fits. I also really, really like this lighting effect, by the way. I mean, it seems like such an old cliche to have these lens flares, but yet, I don't know, something about them just really works. At least in my opinion. Oh, it's the same icon again. Oh, wow. This is the sound of a waterfall. It's very, like, triumphant. This definitely feels like the type of music you would hear after you've accomplished some very difficult feat. Like, I would put this up at the plateau of a mountain when you're looking out over the entire area. You feel like you've kind of, like, reached the climax of nature. This has got a very uplifting feeling about it. Alright, very cool. I definitely would have expected something a little bit more somber, having gone through that creepy cave. But, again, I don't know if the locations are necessarily relevant to the music, or if it's just a coincidence when they happen to line up. It might just be sort of like a delivery mechanism to just have you explore this three-dimensional space. Alright, so it looks like there might not be much else. Oh, no, never mind. Found a little cubby hole there, and I wonder if I can go up the rocks to this side as well. This has sort of made me long for a game sort of like a Dark Souls where there's no combat, where you can just explore the whole thing and unlock shortcuts to slowly but surely make your way around an entire massive world. I don't know, something about that idea just sounds like the best thing ever to me. Alright, let's hear one more track. This is much more what I would have pictured after having gone through that cave, actually. I think maybe these two should be switched. Also, this might just be a little bit of a nitpickle. I mean, pretty much everything I'm saying is a bit of a nitpick since it's an early alpha, but I think it should definitely be considered what the player is looking at when they approach the sphere. So in this case, I walk up to this, and the framing is such that essentially I'm looking at a wall with some rocks and a hill, when if I had come at it from this angle, I would get this awesome landscape in front of me, which I think so much better encapsulates the sentiment to the music. I mean, who wants to just look at a wall? It's just a texture, right? At least this way you see a whole bunch of stuff going on, and, you know, the animations make it feel so much more dynamic and alive. So I think that's definitely something to consider, and I know the developer knows this, considering the last one faced the underside of that waterfall, but even that, I think, could kind of be ratcheted up a little bit, and I'm sure that's something that's being considered for, like, the final version as well. Oh, I can actually walk up this. I didn't expect that. Oh, maybe there is a little bit more to see. Oh, we're now underneath where we started. Okay, that makes sense. I wonder if I can make my way over... Oh, you know how this is going to end. It always ends the same way in every freaking episode, doesn't it? We walk somehow in a way we're not meant to, fall off the world and end up in the water or out of bounds or something. Alright, well, might as well embrace it, right? Maybe there's something down here that we're not meant to see that's cool. I don't know about it, but yeah, no, we're not making it back up these rocks, are we? Alright, fair enough. Wander off. Oh, it actually, okay, at least has a culling plane to let us go back to the beginning. I appreciate that. Now, what I would love is after you've explored a little bit and you find some of these tracks, maybe there's an element of this that now moves in that you can maybe find another direction to go in if you were to go back to the beginning. Oh, we can jump down into this. I didn't realize. Alright. I think I'm going off the rails in ways that I don't know I'm meant to, but I'm into it. Can we get, like, some beach here, too? I'd love a little bit of a beach to walk around on the outside edge. It's a very rocky terrain, this island. I don't know if you'll find a lot of islands that don't have any beach that just kind of jut up out of the water. Well, maybe you do. I don't know. I don't know anything about islands, let's be honest. But I'd like to pretend that I do. Oh, there is a hidden orb right on the other side of this wall. Let's listen. Also, we should definitely be collecting them. Like, there should be some kind of a thing that pops up and is like, hey, you've now added this to your inventory. Do you want to play this as your soundtrack? Just to have sort of like a Crackdown-style collection element. I don't know, that kind of drives people to explore more, especially if they know how many there are totally to find. I mean, there could be extra bonus ones, but I love knowing that I'm, like, close to getting everything in an area. That really definitely does give me a bit of an impetus to keep looking around. Especially if I think I've seen everything that I, wanted to see. Good music, though. I'm enjoying the music. Again, don't know if it's always thematically appropriate in every place that I've heard it, but I think for the most part, they're all... They work well. I just think that maybe some reorientation might be in order is all. Oh. What's going on over here? There's like a little cubby hole in this wall. No? Maybe not. I wonder if this is meant to be something later. It definitely has the vibe like I'm trying to go in there, like it wants to encourage me to go in. Yeah, so it looks like we're just going to kind of go in circles now around the island. Alright, fair enough. If there's going to be multiple levels, I would absolutely be interested in seeing more here. It's got a very tranquil vibe to it. I love looking around in places like this. I'd love it, too, if there was more of this, like, artificial... human design juxtaposed against, the organic matter, the way they did with what almost seemed to be like an art gallery showing at the beginning. If we could go in and out of that artificial mindset, I think that really serves to again, sort of really show what's cool about this music up against this, because really the music is doing the same thing. I mean, the music is not a thing that's, naturally occurring or organic in any way. It's electronic, right? So... the way that kind of works up against the idea of an art gallery, I think, makes a lot of sense. So maybe I would encourage the developer to have more stuff like that. Also, let me walk off of this edge, because I really want to fall into the water. I don't know if it has to go anywhere, but I would like for it to. I mean, I hate to see a big open spot like this you just can't walk into. It just feels frustrating. And if, the best case scenario, have your level design encourage people to go off the rails, and then if it goes that they just wander too far off, just like... find a way to make that still work. I appreciate that, you brought me back to the origin point when I fell off the world. But essentially, it should be like you should be able to get your fill just wandering anywhere you want. Even if you're not meant to be somewhere, you should still be able to generally get back out if you want to. Or, at least find some little Easter eggs. Or try to use the space as best as possible, because there could be potentially a lot of great little cubby holes and hiding places for things. Also, I think the wind might be a little bit dramatic, considering, well, I can't really tell from the water, but it seems like the wind's hitting a lot harder, especially since there isn't any ambient wind sound happening, because it looks like we're in full blast of a wind tunnel at all times. So, I don't know if that's a thing that maybe could be slowed down, just kind of like turn the tempo down on that animation for everything, or, just add some wickedly powerful winds and some particles showing wind movement. That would be nice too, I guess. Anyway, it's early alpha, so it's not like I'm really complaining about this stuff. They're just little minor gripes. Alright, we found our way off the island again. We may as well end on this lovely scene, looking out into whatever this ocean is. That's Ethereality. I'm psyched. I'd love to see more of this, and I look forward to playing more in the future. So thanks everybody for watching. As always, there's going to be a link in the description if you'd like to go check this out yourself. I encourage you to do so. It's a very pretty game, and might be a good benchmark if you'd like to test your video card out and see how it does on this. To be honest, I actually had to turn my fraps down to 30 FPS so I could capture this steadily, because I was having a bit of choppiness at 45 on Ultra, and that's with two GTX 770s with 4 gigs of RAM each. So, I don't know if it necessarily embraces the concept of SLI. It seems like most things don't. But, just something to keep in mind. Unreal Engine 4, not necessarily completely optimized, but it definitely looks pretty. And again, alpha stuff doesn't always imply optimized either. Obviously, kind of the opposite way. In fact, it absolutely doesn't imply optimized. But anyway, like I said, check this out in the description if you're interested. Leave me a comment. Let me know what you thought about this process, generally this progress on this project. That's the P word that I'm looking for. And what you think about the idea of having a like an audio-visual component to an audio album, I think is just kind of a neat idea. So, you know, what do you think about that? Let me know in the comments. And I will be back soon with another episode of Indie Impressions. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, leave a like. And I will see you very soon for another one. Have a great night, everybody. Talk to you all later.